Welcome to Papi's Gaming Show episode 2. What up? Okay, so as you can see, my background has changed quite a bit. I finally got some shelves in my office, so that's fun. I've got a whole bunch of my stuff that I've been keeping away in a closet. Finally, that I can kind of display. This is more of like my favorite stuff. I've got other stuff as well, kind of around my office as well. I'm gonna keep adding shelves and maybe even sticker some stuff on the wall or put up some posters, blah blah blah. But for now, this is kind of the display that I want to show off. Basically, a lot of my Dragon Quest stuff, some collectible stuff that I've collected over the years, some games, blah blah blah. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite thing that you see? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, this is episode 2 of like my new sort of podcast gaming show, basically Papi's Gaming Show. Um, yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this sort of podcast. Like I said before, I really miss doing this sort of thing. So that's why I'm back doing it. Like I said, I'll be doing it weekly. And today's topic is I want to talk about a couple things. One, I want to talk about not the whole presentation from the Game Awards, but I want to talk about specifically the Elden Ring Nightrein. I want to talk about some potential streaming options going forward with some new live streaming things. I want to talk about my thoughts on Dragon Quest 3 as of where I'm at right now. Because I finally got to the Baramos' castle. And then I'll talk about my Nuzlocke challenge. And then after that, I'll go over my questions. I've got 5 new questions from Adam West. Shout out to him. But yeah, before all of that, though, I just want to give a shout out to all of my members on the channel. Specifically, want to give a shout out to the PokeKiddo1 and Few because they have gifted me members. So thank you so much. The PokeKiddo1 is part of the Ultra Papito tier. So thank you very much for that. And everyone else, thank you for watching, for liking, for being subscribed. I really, really appreciate you guys. So anyway, the goal for this is to really grow my channel. I want to become, the go-to Dragon Quest guy, but also RPGs in general. I love to talk about any game, really. I want to have more time to game and live stream specifically. And as I keep growing, the more I can do that stuff. So any support, I would very much appreciate. I've also got a little bit of merch. I'll be probably putting out some more merch sooner or later. But anyways, if you want to check that out, link is in the description of the video. But let's get into the first topic, which is the Game Awards. So again, I didn't actually watch everything. The only thing I actually would actually interested in checking out and looking into was the Elden Ring. So it's a standalone game, Nightrein, and the trailer for it looks incredible. But what we learned about it afterwards, for me, was even more appealing. But, well, so for me personally, the trailer looked incredible. It's a standalone game, but after learning more about it, I think I'm not necessarily as excited for it as I was when it first got revealed. The reason why is this game, Nightrein, is basically supposed to be kind of like a boss rush mode, where it seems like there's 8 different major bosses that are part of the game so far. There's a lot of new bosses. I think the 8 major new bosses are gonna be the are completely new. Like the one that they showed off was the 3 headed wolf dog thing, which looked super cool. I don't know what it's called. But from what I'm seeing around the interwebs, as more details come out. It's basically going to be like there's going to be 3 days in like a segment. Each day you're going to be facing like different bosses, and while you're going through the day, the rain of your area is going to keep getting smaller and smaller, like in Fortnite, and you're being closed in. If you touch the rain, you die basically during the day, and at night you fight the boss of that day. Once you beat that boss, you go into the next day, and then there's 3 different days in a segment or in a dungeon, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And the third day, when you fight the big boss, the third night, it's going to be a major boss basically. But so the way this game works is there's 8 different like classes or vocations you can choose from, and you go throughout your playthrough with that. I'm assuming you can, level up your character and like learn new spells, abilities, blah blah blah. But um and apparently you can also play this single player, which is kind of what I would be most attracted to. The only thing I'm not like super like I like the idea of this being like a fun thing to do with your bros, like for sure. Like even build like some sort of guild and like do this with people. Like I think that would be a lot of fun. But I like I don't like the aspect of like it not saving your character and your progress, Because I'm assuming that once you beat this dungeon or this whatever, you could refer this type of game, like if you wanted to play again, you would revert back to zero. And so I like the idea of like kind of like an MMO sort of idea where it's like you beat something, it's a completely new thing, and then that progress, well, kind of like any video game, that progress stays with your character, your levels, your equipment, your blah blah blah. Your progress continues with you, and then when you stop the game, you come back and you make your character stronger, you continue playing, you progress the story, you progress the you know everything. But in this specific game, it's more of like a boss rush mode, like I said. And so again, it's very appealing, it sounds very fun, but it's not as exciting as it was when I first thought like the game was revealed. I thought this was going to be kind of like a Elden Ring 2 sort of thing. Um, Again, it sounds really cool because a lot of the bosses you're going to be fighting are like past bosses from past Soulsborne's game. Like the Nameless King was shown off in the trailer, but then in other like more deep dive videos, we saw a lot more bosses from other Dark Souls games. So pretty freaking cool that it's basically like a Hall of Fame boss rush mode from like past Dark Souls like enemies and bosses. So and potentially even Bloodborne, like because some of the armor and like outfits very much remind me of Bloodborne. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some Bloodborne in there, which would be incredible. But yeah, so I'm still excited for it. I just don't know if I'd actually play it now because I have extremely limited time as is. I would have to have like a dedicated group of bros that like would be down to play this. But that's the other thing too. It's going to be hard to play. It's honestly going to be really hard for me because when I do have time to play, like I usually don't have I can't sit down and play for a long period of time unless like my kids are asleep, for example, you know? And like then like sometimes I have to get up and go check on them, or maybe one of them wakes up. And so this kind of game is going to be kind of hard to play, honestly, especially when there's other people involved in my party. Like if I'm 10 minutes into like a playthrough, we're fighting a boss and one of my sons wake up, I can't just pause the game and just like, you know, go and take care of that for 5 or 10 minutes and come back. I'm gonna be like, we're gonna be in big trouble basically. So I think I'm going to try to play this game or maybe try it out or something, but I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Basically, so yeah, I'm not as enthusiastic about it as I was at the beginning, like before I learned more about it. I love the concept of it, don't get me wrong. And if I had more time, I would love, cuz and a lot of people are saying this, but this reminds me of a Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter, the concept of Monster Hunter is extremely fun. I love that concept. But I've had it happen before where I have to get up during a boss fight, and this is a kind of game you can't do that. You can't just pause. And so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to like really play this game. I'm going to give it a shot. Like I said, probably like I'd love to play it on the channel every now and then, or when I know for sure I don't have to worry about my kids waking up. I'd love to like play a session with some peeps or whatever. So anyway, we'll figure it out. But I am still excited for it. I think it's a cool idea, cool announcement. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what we end up doing. But that kind of goes into like my next segment, which basically I'm going to be um, live streaming PlayStation 5 games. It's going to be one of two games: Dragon's Dogma 2 or Elden Ring. I really want to play Dragon's Dogma 2 because I am a huge fan of Dragon's Dogma, the first one. I beat that game 3 times on Xbox 360 and then Dark Arisen. Well, I guess 4 times technically. Then when it came out on PS4, I played the remastered version for that. Played that, beat that, and then for Switch, played that, beat that. I played a lot of Bitter Black Isle. I beat Bitter Black Isle twice, but I've never like gone to the next phase because it's so freaking hard, and I just kind of put it down at that case. And I've never killed death. So those are two things that I still kind of want to do, like beat the second phase of Bitter Black Isle, and then also beat death. But whatever. The point is, I love Dragon's Dogma. So Dragon's Dogma 2, when that was announced, I was super hyped for it, but I could never play it because the PC I have basically is powered by a potato. So it's not very strong. And Dragon's Dogma 2, as we should all know by now, if you've played or heard about that game, it's a game that requires a lot of power. Apparently, even like the most high end of PCs are having trouble running this thing because it's so crazy. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so me getting a PS5, which is funny because it still like runs like decent, at least lets me play the game, but I would love to stream it. So there's that. And the other option, like I said, is Elden Ring because I love Elden Ring. I love From Software games. I'm a huge fan of them. Um, I've never played. There's two that I haven't played: Demon Souls and Sekiro. But everything else I've played. Well, I guess Armored Core I haven't played either, which is technically From Software. But anyways, I've played Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. I have the strategy guides for them. I've beat them multiple times. I 100%ed Dark Souls 3, platinumed it. Bloodborne as well. I've platinumed that. I love Bloodborne is probably one of my favorite games of all time, legit. And yeah, and ever since I've picked up Elden Ring, I've loved it, but I just haven't had that much time to play it. I think I have like 60 hours into that, but it's on my PC. But I would totally buy it again for PS5, and I would totally stream that. I would totally stream that, and actually to like completion. I would love to do that. But yeah, it would be a behemoth of a task, and we all know I'm very um like I start a game and I never finish it on this channel. There's only like one game I've actually been able to finish on this channel. Well, two technically, which is Dragon Quest XI, and that took me 2 years. Again, because I'm very limited with the time I can like live stream and game in general. So that's a big factor as of why that happens. But the other game I actually was able to be on the channel as Dragon Quest One. So there's that. Well, technically, okay, I lied. No, I didn't lie. I was gonna say I haven't Dragon Quest the Dark Prince, Dragon Quest Monsters the Dark Prince. I didn't actually live stream it from beginning to end. I live streamed a couple episodes and then I beat it like I live streamed the end portion of the game. So technically that doesn't count, I would say. But anyways, my point is I've started a lot of games on this channel and then I just kind of stopped streaming them because I want to stream something else. And or I'm doing a challenge and then I stop doing the challenge because whatever. The point is, I would love Elden Ring. I would love to do that. I would love to do Elden Ring or Dragon's Dogma 2. And if I did do one of those games, I would probably focus on completing it, but I would also sprinkle in other types of challenges or live streams in the mix. So going forward, I am going to try to live stream every single night, Monday to Friday. I'm like I said, I'm going to try because that's my ultimate goal. I want to live stream more on this channel. I love live streaming, but maybe at least even do 3 nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm going to try my best to do that. It really all just depends on my kids, but I've got a couple strategies going forward that I'm going to try to make sure my kids go to sleep early and then I can live stream, for an hour or two, Monday to Friday, or at least 3 times a week. That's my plan. That's my goal, and I want to try to do that like literally the week that this video comes out. So we will see how that goes. It all depends on how successful I am with putting my kids to sleep. So anyway, I really hope I have éxito. I just was speaking English and Spanish at the same time. Anyways, I really hope I'm successful with that because I really want to live stream more. And now that I'm going to have a PS5 and I can finally play Dragon's Dogma 2 or actually play Elden Ring like more comfortably, because that's my other problem. Like I could totally play Elden Ring like on my PC, but I would rather live stream it. And also, I don't know why, but like my PC, I'm not that comfortable playing on my PC. I think it's because like the setup or the controller just feels kind of awkward or like, I don't know. But the PlayStation 5, I know for a fact I'm going to love to turn that on and like because I can actually use the machine and live stream from my PC, I should be able to at least, hopefully. I could do that. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes. It all depends on how my potato PC can actually handle all this stuff that we're going to try out. But if I'm able to live stream either Dragon's Dogma 2 or Elden Ring, what would you like to see me live stream? So far, the people I've asked, it's been a one and one. One person says Elden Ring, one person says Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm curious what you would like me to live stream. If, you know, yeah. What do you think? What would you guys want to watch me play? Um so yeah, so anyways, so that's that situation. Let's move on to the next segment. I want to talk about some of my notes for my Dragon Quest 3 experience as of right now. HC2D remake, I should clarify. Um, these are basically just going to be things that I've noticed that are like changes or upgrades that I can like tell as of what I've been playing from this game. As of doing the Nuzlocke challenge and then also my personal file, there's a couple of things that I've taken away from that experience so far. And those are the following. And just to clarify, I'm going to first do um the pros, and there's five of them. There's 5 points. Number one, um, okay, so usually when you play a game, a Dragon Quest game, and you're exploring a dungeon or a cave, you do not, or even the overworld, you do not have the overworld filled out already. Like you have to walk around to fill out your overworld, right? Your map, your the dungeon map, the overworld map, whatever. In this game, you don't do that. It's already filled out for you. Um, at first, I didn't think I was gonna like that, but I'm gonna be honest. I actually really like that, and this is why. The reason why I've actually really started to like that specific thing is because I am a gamer that loves to explore every nook and cranny of like a map of the overworld. I will literally comb through every section, every nook and cranny, literally. Like, I love to just explore everything there is to explore. And for a game like Dragon Quest, that's always been very appealing and very like satisfying, especially in like a more 2D version, because it's easier to do. It's easier to fill out the map. You could see the map afterwards where you've walked and blah, blah, blah. With 3D games, it's harder to do, especially if you have to fill out the map. But the 2D ones, that's one of the things I like to do is fill out the map while you're walking around, exploring, blah, blah, blah. But the reason why is because I want to get literally everything on the map. I want to find everything, right? And so my point, and the reason why I like this is I don't have to second guess myself anymore, where like I already know where all of the dead ends are, right? So I don't have to like doubt myself and like go down a path where I know it's going to be the correct one, and like I'll have to backtrack. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is I always purposely wait to go on the correct path through a dungeon so I can find and explore everything in that dungeon before I make it to the final boss. Because that's one of my pet peeves. I explore a dungeon and I accidentally find the correct path and I make it to the end, and I just skipped a whole bunch of stuff. And like sometimes you can't go back. And that's always bugged me. And so I like where I know where the dead ends are. I know where like I'm not supposed to go, right? Not like, and so I like where that I know where the dead ends are, basically. So I purposely go to them so I can explore everything. There's always a treasure chest, at least 70 to 80% of the time. There's a treasure chest. There's a monster you can recruit. There's a sparkling spot, something. And so I love that I can see everything now, and so it makes it easier to find everything, instead of doubting myself and like thinking, okay, I just went, down a floor. Hopefully this doesn't lead me the right way because I still want to find stuff in the dungeon before I go the right way. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? So, anyway, I take that as a pro because I really like that. So again, that I can actually get myself lost. Well, not lost, but I can actually find everything I need to find before going the correct way. So anyway, that's number one. Number two is the spell or ability Blasto. Okay, this ability was really annoying in the previous versions of this game because the moment one of those stupid birds freaking used Blasto and your party member was flown off into oblivion, You literally had to go back to Patty's party planning place and have them rejoin your party. But guess what? This game, you don't have to do that. The character literally rejoins right after the battle finishes. I love that. That is such a beautiful, just nice little, like, very convenient um, update that I appreciate very much. So thank you, Yuji Horii. All right, number 3. The extra bosses that were added, I think, are really, really cool. Ripper of the Rift, Dying Flame, etc. So it's funny because, like, in my Nuzlocke challenge, Ripper of the Rift has been an absolute just beast of a monster that's killed. He party just wiped my party 3 times at least. So I technically shouldn't like Ripper of the Rift, but I actually really love the idea that every orb has a boss fight, basically. And there's a lot more boss fights added into the game. I think that's really cool. And then it's funny with Dying Flame, for example, because I haven't reached Dying Flame on my personal or on my Nuzlocke challenge, but I beat him on my personal, file, and I did not have a hard time with him at all. I don't know for sure if it's because I was over leveled or I literally spammed a ton of AoE skills and abilities or spells. So I think that's why that fight was not hard, because the thing is, like, I think I might have had it once or twice happen to me during that fight where, like, they called for backup, but I literally did not have any issues with that at all for that boss fight. Like like it was pretty easy for me. I beat it pretty quickly. And so that's why I was telling Illness and Few is I think the reason why is because I was using literally all my skills I was using or abilities and spells were all AoE, and like I took out all the enemies pretty quickly and all at once, basically. So I really didn't have a hard time with that boss fight. But anyways, in general, I love the addition of the new bosses. I think it's really cool. Um, the other thing I love, number 4, is something I've noticed is, like, for example, like, let's say you learn a skill that's like a boomerang skill, right? But then your character has a sword equipped. You wouldn't be able to use the boomerang skills in any previous Dragon Quest game, like 11, for example. You wouldn't be able to use boomerang skills if you had swords equipped. You could only use sword skills. But from what I've noticed, in this game, it doesn't matter. I have a boomerang equipped with my hero, for example, but I can still use Falcon Slash. I can still use Lightning Slash, Flame Slash. So I think that's really cool. It's like, it doesn't matter that you have a boomerang equipped, you could still use sword skills. So I thought that's really cool. I think that's very nice, kind of like added touch of like convenience, you know? But anyway, so there's that. And then the last one, I really like how much like more chatty Rubus is. Um she like is much more like there in this version. She like talks to you more often when you get an orb, or like when she gives you hints like where you got to go, what you got to do. Like, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's really cool because Rubus has always been kind of like a very mysterious character, and like you could totally like if you were to play 1, 2, and 3 and like not really pay attention too much to the story, you would totally miss out on Rubus. Like, you wouldn't even know that there was a goddess named Rubus that was like, somewhat important to the storyline. Like, but in this game, she's much more involved. And I really like that. I think that's really cool. I would like to see what she looks like. Like, I hope that we can actually see a picture of her, because I think the only official artwork that has ever come out for Rubus was for like a side game, like Dragon Quest Tact or something like that. But I would love for there to be like an actual artwork of Rubus for this game. So anyway, it still remains to see. We will see. But anyways, those are my pros. There is one con that I have for this game so far, and that is basically that this game is way harder than the previous versions. So I understand that they kind of made it like technically that's not like true, because they have three different modes in this version. Draki mode, which literally you can't die from what I keep hearing. Like you just can't die basically. It's that easy. Then there's Dragon Quest mode, which is basically supposed to be the medium difficulty, supposed to be the one that's more reflects like an average normal Dragon Quest game. Excuse me. And then there's Draconian mode, which we all know is the hardest difficulty. I'm playing this game on Dragon Quest mode, and it is way harder than your average Dragon Quest difficulty. Because, bro, one of the things that bugs me, that has been bugging me a lot, I swear, almost every enemy, every monster that you face can attack twice. Literally every monster. Like, I swear it's like 80% of the monsters you fight can attack twice. Where before it was like exclusive to the freaking like beacon enemies with the beaks that would have two legs, and like maybe another monster, but like bosses, a lot of the bosses, I think most of them or even all of them can attack twice. And like the most hardest final bosses like Kalasmos in Dragon Quest 9 for example can attack three times. But like every freaking monster in this game, I swear, can attack twice. And it's just annoying. Because it's like, dude, what the hell? This was like supposed to be like a passive skill for like freaking bosses. How is it that every monster can attack twice? And this is supposed to be the normal like Dragon Quest mode. I just don't get it. And so that's something that's like really been my only annoyance so far. And like legit, it's been the only thing I've been annoyed about so far. But yeah, I just think that's kind of unfair. But anyways, those are basically my thoughts on like my updated thoughts at least on Dragon Quest 3 HC2 remake. Like I said on my personal file, I'm currently in Baramos's castle, which has been fun. But yeah. And then on my Nuzlocke challenge, I was able to get in an hour yesterday. Well, yesterday as of I'm recording, Friday night, I was able to get in an hour while my youngest was taking a nap. Excuse me, sorry. Um and honestly, I don't know. Well, I guess I technically made progress, but I also killed off a party member. Wyvern Quest, unfortunately, has seen his last day, breathed his last breath, you know, on my most recent live stream as of this recording. So, yeah, I am so sorry, you know, Wyvern Quest. I really appreciated your efforts. But, yeah, you unfortunately passed away. So, yeah, but I was able to recruit Thew again. So I recruited a priest named Thew too. Shout out to Thew. I promise not to kill you. At least I'm gonna try. um. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I got to All Trades Abbey. I still need to go and fight Robin Hood a second time. That's the next thing I have to do. But right now, I'm probably just gonna grind up a little bit so I can have Few 2 my new addition to the party not be severely underleveled. So I'm gonna try and grind some metal slimes. We'll see how that goes in that area. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now with my challenge. So anyway, by the way, guys, like I said before that I don't want people that have already have been in my party to make another member, but at this point I really need some names. So if you would like to rejoin my party or join for the first time, please comment down below what your vocation you would like for your vocation to be, and maybe some like more details on like male, female, hair color, and then everything else I could just put whatever. But yeah, I would really appreciate you guys wanting to join my party because I really need more recruits. As of right now, my party's full, but what I'm trying to say is like if I need to like add a new party member because somebody dies, I don't have a standby list anymore because I've literally used everyone up. So please join my party or at least join my standby group so that I can actually add people the moment that a party member dies as of right now. So anyways, I would appreciate that. Yeah. And then besides that, that's basically it. That's basically it. So, let's move on to the last segment of this podcast, which is the um, Ask Papi segment or Papi Answers. So basically, I have a channel on my Discord called Ask Papi. Every member of the Discord can ask me up to 5 questions, and I will answer these questions during this podcast episode in this segment. They can literally be about anything. It doesn't have to be Dragon Quest, it doesn't have to be gaming wise. It could literally be anything. I will answer it. So yeah, So yeah, this is that segment. Let's go ahead and get started. The only person that asked me questions this time around was Adam West, and he asked 5 questions. So let's go to the first one. The first one is, which game do you think will win Game of the Year from the Game Awards? You know what? I know this already happened. The Game Awards already happened, but I'll be honest, I don't know what game won. So yeah, and honestly, I'm so tuned out of like gaming in general. I used to be very on top of like, the games that were coming out and like the reviews of the games and like something, rumors of games and blah blah blah. I'm 100% tuned out. And so I honestly don't even know what most of the options are. I know that like Shadow of the Erd Tree made it to like, which is an expansion of Elden Ring, made it to like I think one of the options to win Game of the Year. Um, but honestly, right now, I couldn't even tell you what games were like potentially going to win. I just randomly, for fun, put Dragon Quest 3 HD2 Remake like on the Discord that was going to win the Game of the Year. But obviously, like I don't think that was even a contender, unfortunately. Um, but it also makes sense because it came out way later in the year, and usually games that come out way later don't get added to like a category. But it also is because it's Dragon Quest. Let's be honest. But anyways, um, yeah. So I honestly don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't even know what the nominations are for the Game of the Year. I really don't. I have no idea. So I don't know, dude. I don't know what to say. I really don't. You know what? I'm gonna say a random game just because, like, it's whatever. You know, Mario and Luigi Brothership. There you go. Did that win anything? Let me know. Yeah. Okay. Have you played Life is Strange games? And if so, which is your favorite in the series? I've not played any of those games. I don't even know what they are. I've heard of them, but I don't even know what kind of genre of game it is, I'll be honest. So, yeah, there's your answer. Okay. Number three, choose which version of all 11 Dragon Quest mainline games is your favorite. Um, it's still 11. Dragon Quest 11 is still my favorite as of right now. But Dragon Quest 9 could potentially take that throne, and 10 has a possibility as well. Um, if it ever got localized, that would probably be my favorite for sure. But yeah, 11 is my favorite as of right now. The cast is my favorite. The gameplay is gorgeous. The graphics are absolutely incredible. The story is absolutely fantastic. The yeah, it's just a honestly, it's a perfect game in my eyes. I love it so much. Um, yeah, and I would die for a Dragon Quest 9 remake in Dragon Quest 11 graphics. I would literally die. Like I would love that so much. But anyway, but yeah, that's the answer. Okay, which franchise is better, The Legend of Zelda or Super Mario? I would say personally Super Mario. That's a good question. I like that question a lot. I would personally say Super Mario because Mario has been part of my life like ever since I was a young kid living in freaking New Jersey, bro. So I was born in New York, but I lived in New Jersey and New York until I was 11, kind of back to back. Um, and I still, my youngest like gaming memory I still remember was literally the UPS or the mail guy or whatever brought Super Nintendo. My dad bought it, the Super Nintendo, and dude, freaking Super Mario World was like one of my favorite games. Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart was great. Yeah, and then the N64 when that came out, Super Smash Bros, Mario 64. Like I basically exclusively played Mario and then eventually Pokemon when I got a Game Boy. But basically my childhood is all Mario and Pokemon. Like literally. Eventually I got my hands on like Ocarina of Time, but that was way after the N64 era. And honestly, I never was a huge fan of the game. It was a good game. I enjoyed it, but I never ever got like I think it's because I never played it when it first came out. So I never really like was enamored with it like so much people are. Like some people like Ocarina of Time is even their favorite Zelda game. And for me, I just like, dude, what? No, hell no. Like that's not my case at all. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I enjoy it. It's a great game. It was fun. But yeah, bro. Like, yeah. For me personally, Super Mario, to answer your question again, Super Mario 100% because, like, it's also for me now, it's like a perfect game with my kids. My kids love Mario, they love to play Mario. We can play together. It's like a perfect game for like families as well, franchise for families. So, The Legend of Zelda is great, fantastic. They have a lot of really good games that I have enjoyed. Um, but yeah, Super Mario, without a doubt, is my answer for sure. So, plus, Super Mario also has incredible RPGs. I love the Paper Mario franchise. Well, at least the first two games. And then the Mario and Luigi games are phenomenal. And then I still have to play, like, you know, the original RPG, Super Mario RPG, but I'll eventually play that. But anyways, that is my answer. All right, on to the last question is which Pokemon game is your favorite? Also, which version of said pair, like if you said Gen 2 is your favorite, is it gold, silver, or crystal? Okay, that's a good question. So, favorite Pokemon game, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of stuck in like older Pokemon, like Gen 4 and below, is like my favorite era of Pokemon. I really enjoyed Gen 5, but Gen 4 is like, for me, was like the pinnacle of Pokemon. Um, but only because they remade 2. 2 is my favorite generation. Gold and silver. both of them, I played those games when I was a kid. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how much I played. I literally skipped all of Gen 3. I didn't play Gen 3 for years. Like, I played Gen 4 after I played Gen 2. Um, and I just love Gen 2. Like, and Gen 4 was great too. And so Heart Gold and Soul Silver were my favorites. They are my favorite games. I would probably say Heart Gold to answer your question, the second part of your question, Heart Gold, only because I think that's the one I have the most like fond memories of. Although I've played both of them. Um, but Heart Gold for me, I don't know why, it just has like this specific spot in my nostalgia heart that will never, ever, ever, I will never forget it. I never forget it. It will have a little space in my heart for the rest of time. So, yeah, Heart Gold. Heart Gold to answer your question. But yeah. So, anyways, those were all the questions I have. I don't have any more questions on Ask Papi. Again, if you would like to ask me questions, I will answer them on this podcast in this segment. Just go to Ask Papi on my Discord. If you want to join my Discord, if you're not a member of my Discord, the link to the Discord is in the description of this video, of this podcast. So, anyways, that was basically it for my podcast episode, my number 2 episode. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you did. Yeah, appreciate you guys very, very much. Consider becoming a member. I would really appreciate that. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace out.